Shortly after the collapse of LUNA and UST, the severe de-anchoring of stETH and ETH once again touched the fragile nerves of investors and it caused a lot of attention. The price of ETH fell by nearly 12% in 24 hours, causing further panic in the crypto market. As of now, the liquidity crisis of stETH has not been resolved, and it is still unclear how stETH will develop next and whether it will enter a death spiral. Many people worry that stETH would become the next UST, so what caused it to depeg? In this video, Coinverse will analyze the reasons for stETH depacking. What are Lido and stETH? With the upcoming merger of Ethereum 2.0, the mining form on the Ethereum chain is also gradually transitioning from POW to POS mortgage mining. Ethereum POS mortgage mining is called beacon chain mining, which requires direct participation in pledges. Unfortunately, the number of ETHs must reach at least 32, and ordinary users are subject to financial and technical deficiencies, making it extremely difficult to participate in beacon chain mining directly, thus giving birth to new track flow property bond services. When a user provides his ETH to a third-party pledge platform for a pledge, the third-party pledge platform will pull the ETH of multiple users and mortgage them into the beacon chain for pledge mining. At the same time, the third-party pledge platform will issue an ETH pledge certificate token to the user. This pledge certificate token is equivalent to receiving a receipt issued by ETH for the user. For example, if a user provides a 5 ETH to a third-party pledge platform for the pledge, they will receive a pledge certificate token of 5 ETH. This ETH pledge certificate token is stETH. stETH is an ERC20 liquid pledge token issued by Lido. Users can pledge any amount of ETH and receive stETH to earn income in DeFi. The balance is packed 1-to-1 with the ETH pledged in Lido. When the Ethereum merger is completed, users can exchange 1 ETH for 1 stETH. It should be noted that stETH can only be redeemed after the beacon chain goes live. Before that, the 12.8 million ETH in ETH 2.0 pledge contract was illiquid, according to the relevant data. Lido currently holds 32% of the 12.8 million ETH, or about 4.1 million. What did stETH post? Recently, some addresses holding stETH began transferring stETH to new addresses through FTX. A total of about 75,000 stETH were sold. On June 10th, stETH transactions surged by nearly 68% to 3,573. In addition, some giant whales and institutional accounts began selling stETH and exchanging it for ETH. In theory, if ETH 2.0 can be merged as scheduled and the beacon chain can be launched on time based on market confidence, the forward value of 1 stETH should be greater than the value of 1 ETH. In this case, where the market has confidence in stETH and the two-way transaction volume between stETH and ETH is the same, if Lido does not have exceptional circumstances such as running away, thunderstorms, etc. After the beacon chain is officially launched, each stETH can be exchanged. The prices of stETH, ETH can be guaranteed to be the same as ETH on the beacon chain. Seeing this, some people can't help but ask why the price of stETH and ETH can always maintain a 1-to-1 exchange ratio. The reason is straightforward. The official Lido of stETH attract users to pledge through the analyzed 4% APY. At the same time, Lido provides stETH with as much liquidity as possible by using various DeFi methods such as Uniswap, Curve Pool, and ETH, which makes it difficult for the value of stETH to de-anchor from ETH. The adoption of these measures have also prompted a large amount of inflow into Lido. Although the dream is beautiful, if some users who hold stETH are not optimistic about stETH or think that due to the impact of the bear market, the price of ETH would be lower than it is now after the launch of ETH 2.0, then reduce losses, they will stETH convert it to ETH and sell it. With the launch of the stETH and ETH trading pair on the decentralized exchange Curve, users can freely convert between stETH and ETH through Curve. But what is unexpected is that just recently, Celsius, one of the largest CeFi platforms in the market, reported a thunderstorm causing a public outcry. As a result, Celsius pledged over 40,000 ETH to ETH 2.0 pledge service provider StakeHound in 2021. To participate in the mining the ETH 2.0 beacon chain. Unfortunately, due to stakeout management errors, part of the private keys of his wallets that pledged ETH was lost, which is equivalent to a part of the pledged ETH that cannot be retrieved on the chain, which makes Celsius, a stakeout user, also responsible for this part. As a result, many ETH was lost, and Celsius also fell into an unprecedented crisis of user trust. However, when Celsius users were figuring out how to get their staked ETH out, they accidentally discovered a bigger problem. According to related news, Celsius did not ultimately retain the ETH it got from users. It only had 27% of the total amount, and 44% of it was given to Lido to mine the beacon chain and get stETH. 44% of the total amount of ETH held are stETH tokens, while the remaining 29% of the Celsius is mining the beacon chain itself, and 29% of the ETH quota will not be exchanged until the beacon chain goes online. For ETH, therefore, if users collectively withdraw the ETH pledged in Celsius, the ETH that Celsius can immediately redeem to the user is only 27% of the total amount, and there is still 44% of the amount of ETH. Celsius needs to go to Curve to use the stETH exchange to get it. Therefore, it is generally believed that Celsius, which has lost users' trust, will usher in large-scale user withdrawals next time, equivalent to a disaster for a platform. However, this is indeed the case. When the news of thunderstorms came out of the Celsius, the panic in the market began to intensify. Many users sold their stETH on Curve, and a large part of stETH was converted into ETH, while the price of stETH has also dropped significantly, which directly led to the de-anchoring of stETH and ETH. The prices of the two no longer meet the 1-to-1 exchange ratio, which means that the conditions for stETH and ETH to remain stable will no longer exist. As the situation of users selling stETH intensified, some institutions that held many stETH also began to sell stETH on Curve. This caused the price of stETH to fall further, and the deviation of the stETH and ETH liquidity pool on Curve was further exacerbated, resulting in a more severe depegging. According to the data on TokenView, the ETH lending pool holds the highest proportion of stETH, and there are currently more than 1.4 million stETH in the lending pool. The official loan pool of ETH shows that in the loan pool of more than $2 billion, the income of APY is zero. The utilization rate is also zero, which means that the loan pool itself does not generate any income, which means that the lending pool realizes circular lending through the stETH and ETH pegging. Simply put, it is to pledge ETH in Lido in exchange for stETH, deposit stETH in ETH and borrow ETH, and then pledge the borrowed ETH to Lido in exchange for stETH. This way, to realize the cycle and increase the annualized income to 20%. And because stETH and ETH have a strong 1-to-1 anchoring relationship, most users will feel that the risk is minimal. As the de-anchoring continues to intensify, the value of the collateral for revolving lending will be less than the value of the loan. This will lead to further liquidation. Once liquidation begins, the collateral stETH will be liquidated and its price will fall further, eventually forming a death spiral. But it remains to be seen how it will develop in the future. Even if the anchor is off, there is no need to worry. Coinverse believes that even if stETH and ETH are de-anchored, or even a thunderstorm, everyone does not need to worry, because stETH and UST are completely different existences. UST is a pure algorithm stable currency. Although there is a reserve of LFG, it is still not a rigid redemption asset with 100% reserve. On the other hand, Lido's liquidity plan is a rigid redemption asset with 100% reserves. To put it simply, even if the liquidity crisis broke out at this time, it was due to the liquidity crisis caused by the inability of the Ethereum network to withdraw the pledged ETH, rather than the financial crisis, that the funds were in short supply and could not be redeemed. Therefore, when the Ethereum mainnet is merged, regardless of the price of stETH, it can be redeemed 1-to-1 through the protocol, which is also the essential difference between stETH and UST. Coinverse is the world's first value discovery community in the blockchain field. We reviews and judges public chains and high-quality projects objectively and fairly. All content of Coinverse is for reference only to community users, not as investment advice.